everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to ChasingCinema.com's official YouTube channel. My name is Jacob Toronto, and today is day 9 of the 25 Days of Christmas movie marathon. Yesterday, I reviewed Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the classic 1970 Rankin and Bass production. In case you've not seen that video, or my review of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer the day before, make sure to click the white eye up here. If you click it, a bunch of links are going to drop down, and you'll be able to see all the things I've been reviewing. Now, before I get into my review today, just quickly want to talk about Mrs. Claus and the Frost Men, a wonderful new holiday book written by Sam Mallory and illustrated by my good friend Eric Moore, and as well as helped by Sherry, another good friend who were featured on the podcast we did for Jaws on our first year at Chasing Cinema. Well, Mrs. Claus and the Frost Men is a brand new book, which is available on Amazon.com, but if you are a Vegas local, you can get it right now at Eclips Art and Beauty Salon, which is at 9770 South Maryland Parkway, Suite number 5 in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is a wonderful book, great for holidays, stocking stuffers, gifts maybe for little ones, in case you want to read it to them, or in case they want to start reading them themselves. I've purchased a few for many different members of my family. It's a wonderful book, a very different story, very refreshing illustrations, a great book. I really hope you guys check it out. Again, I'll have the Amazon link below as well as the address, so in case you want, if you are Vegas local and you want to go pick it up, you can do so, and if you're not, you can order it off Amazon. Moving forward, today I'm going to be reviewing a movie that I remember seeing when it first came out, I believe in 2003, and I wasn't a big fan of it. I actually didn't like it, and to this day, people go, "Oh, what, you don't like this movie? It's so good!" And I'm just like, ugh. And I don't like to be that way, but sometimes it gets to a point where people ask me about this movie, particular time, so many times I'm just like, oh God, please. And that's Elf, the film by Jon Favreau, which stars Will Ferrell, Zooey Deschanel, James Caan, Bob Newhart, all star in this movie about a character named Buddy the Elf, an orphan human, who finds his way into Santa's bag while he is delivering Christmas presents at the orphanage, and is unknowingly to Santa taken back to the North Pole, where he would eventually grow up and be raised by elves. Specifically Papa Elf, who's played by Bob Newhart. Lo and behold, this young boy named Buddy grows up, and he is towering above these elves. He you know, when he showers, he could barely fit in the shower. Only like his chest up is out of the over the curtain. I mean, just all types of inconveniences. However, Buddy the Elf is a great elf. Though he's not good at toy making, he is happy. He believes in Santa. He is chipper. He's all by the rules for Santa, which is singing cheer. Singing brings Christmas cheer, and loving Santa. I mean, he is the giddiest, happy person in the world. Through so once he actually finds out, though, that there is a lot of differences between then later in the movie, he actually comes to find out that he is a human and not an elf, which a lot of people are shocked it's taken him so long to find out. And that's when Papa Elf tells him about his real life and his real father and his real mother. And his real mother passed away, but his dad, played by James Caan, is working in New York City, and he could go see him, and that's what Buddy decides to do. However, just before he finds out that his dad, James Caan, is, of course, on the naughty list. We meet James Caan, who is a workaholic. Doesn't really. He has a son. He is married to Mary Steenburgen, who plays Emily in this movie, and they have a child named Michael, played by Daniel Tay. But James Caan is at the office. He's busy working. He's not really thinking about Christmas or being with the family. And so Buddy ends up going to see him, but is quickly thrown out because he's considered a lunatic. And it's pretty much about his adventures in New York, discovering the malls and fake Santas, and how once he sees Santa, he knows that's an imposter. And just him kind of realizing how the real world works. And trying to win over his love from his father, who doesn't even want to see him at the moment. I will say that watching Elf for the second, maybe third time this week, it wasn't as bad as I remembered it. I actually found some parts of it to be quite enjoyable. However, I still don't think it's as good as everyone kind of puts it off to me. Now, this film is well acclaimed by critics and fans, and I'm aware of it. And it does have an interest. I love the story. I love the concept of Elf. The idea that this human is an elf and he's raised by elves and he has to go find his father. I think it's a beautiful story, and James Caan is great as the disconnected father who is so busy with work, doesn't care about his family. However, my problem really comes with that character. Will Ferrell, who, I enjoy, but I don't like as much as everyone else. I think Will Ferrell is good, and he's a great comedian, one of the best, of our time. In all honesty, I think people will always look back at Will Ferrell as one of the best comedians in film during this period. However, most of his movies, I'm not crazy about. I'm not crazy about Semi-Pro or Blades of Glory or Kicking and Screaming or many other films that he's done. There are a few that I absolutely love. Everything Must Go is a great movie that no one really saw. Oh, Stranger Than Fiction is a wonderful movie. I like Talladega Nights and I like Step Brothers. So usually I've just kind of associated, I like him when he's with John C. Reilly. But on average, the movies that he's in, I'm not crazy about. I wasn't a big fan of Get Hard. I'm really not looking forward to Daddy's Home. I mean, he's hit and miss with me. But he's wonderful in this movie. I think he really plays Buddy the Elf well. There's so much happiness and joy in his eyes. In the beginning, I kind of had a little bit of issues because he felt like he was playing with the kind of a contradictory type attitude, but that eventually gets lost, and he really kind of gets into character where he's playing this just loving human being, this happy person who is in a world of unhappy people. So I definitely like him in this movie, but my major issue in this movie is that we have this father who knows that this kid is his. He eventually gets a DNA test, finds out that Buddy is his actual son. And he lets him stay at the house. And Buddy's always trying to do things with him, but he's like, I'm busy at work. And then one day he takes him to work and sticks him in the mailroom. And once Buddy ruins his deal for him, which I won't spoil, a great cameo is involved in that scene. He tells Buddy to get out, leave, he never wants to see him again. And it takes his real son coming to get him to say, let's go look for Buddy. Buddy's missing. And then there's just this change. And that was my problem with the movie. I think that we changed James Caan, who is basically the center of this movie. I mean, we know Buddy is the center, but Buddy's not going to really change. Buddy is stagnant, right? Buddy is going to be this happy, loving elf. He wants to do good. He has met a woman, Zooey Deschanel, who he has fallen for, but there's not much change going on. It's just placing a very stagnant character in a very changeable world. However, it's James Caan, the character that we need to see make the change, make the character arc, as screenwriters or filmmakers would say. And that arc just doesn't work. It's just he's like, not really connected to this kid. I know he's related. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this. He's just kind of a crazy person. He thinks he's Santa's elf. Obviously, no one believes him. And then it goes, I yelled at him, so now I love him, and I just believe in him. And eventually he does see Santa's, and he realizes that this person is not crazy. However, there's no moment where they actually have a bonding connection that kind of pulls down that wall from James Caan and allows him and Buddy to relate. So, in most movies we have... How can I explain? Most movies, let's say it's a very typical man, a comedy romance. There's the guy who wants to get with the girl who ignores him. Then then they have a class together, something, and there's something to kind of make that connection happen. She then tells him, I'm just kidding, I never liked you anyway. Or she ends up, he finds out it's bad. These stupid scenarios. And that's when that big issue happens to reunite, right? So in this movie, we have Buddy and James Caan, who don't really get along. James Caan doesn't like him, thinks he's crazy, blows up on him, and then changes. It doesn't make sense. There's a missing part of that movie where James Caan and Buddy hang out for a day, and Buddy talks about his mother, and James Caan talks about, and finally opens up about this woman and how he loved her, and then they have that bond. And that's the scene this movie's missing, and I think that important scene, it doesn't have to be about the mother, mind you. I'm just making that off the top of my head, but that would have been a really interesting scene. Why doesn't Buddy ask about his mother? I don't know. I would have really loved him to do that. It could have been dragging his dad to the big toy store, I forget, FAO Schwartz, and making him play with an old toy that he liked or something, and then just kind of having that moment of fun and forgetting about work and stuff like that, and that bonds them. But there's no bonding moment, and to me, that's what really kills this movie, because I don't buy James Caan just changing at the end and being like, oh, I believe in Christmas and Santa. Granted, he sees Santa, I buy that, but that shouldn't change the way he feels necessarily about Buddy. So I guess that was my issue with the movie. Overall, I think it's a funny movie. I think it's nice. It's not a Christmas favorite of mine. It's not a movie I'd probably watch again anytime soon. I think it was nice, but not a movie that I would put in my Christmas repertoire. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you feel about Elf down here in the comment section below. I'm sure a lot of you are going to have something to say, because I get argued about this movie all the time. So let's have the fun down here in the comment section below. Unless you agree with me, I would love to hear that as well. Also, right above the comment section, there's a thumbs up button. If you give that a click, lets me know you're enjoying this video, lets me know I do a good job, means a lot to me. I'd appreciate it if you click that. Also, don't forget to find out more about Mrs. Claus and the Frost Men down here in the description box. Last but not least, guys, there is still plenty of more movies for me to review in the 25 Days of Christmas Movie Marathon. Do not miss any of them by hitting that subscribe button right down here. Also, in 2 days, I'm going to be reviewing the new film by Ron Howard starring Chris Hemsworth called In the Heart of the Sea, which is the story that inspired the book Moby Dick. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning in to this video. My name is Jacob Toronto, and please continue chasing cinema. And in case you're interested in Mrs. In case you're interested in Mrs. Flaw,